Good morning everyone. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to access and use ConnectEd. ConnectEd is a portal that StudySync uses and our social studies impact uses. So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to access it, some of the features. I'm not really going to go over StudySync. You can click on StudySync and use it for that, but for this purpose, more importantly, I'm just going to be focusing on social studies. The reason being is because I'm going to be assigning quizzes and tests through social studies, and also there's some cool features that I think you guys will find to be useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so that way we can get started. So just like before, there are many ways that you guys can access some of these websites. This is just one of the ways that I think is the most comfortable and the most familiar for you guys. So I went to my classroom website as I've done in the past. You're going to go to ClassLink. You can also bookmark the ConnectEd website, but ClassLink just seems to be the easiest. I'm using a student's login, so this information right here that's going to be popping up on the screen is something that you're going to be seeing as a student as well. So after you log into ClassLink and you get rid of the little notifications and pop-ups, it's going to take you to this screen right here, and you're going to click on McGraw-Hill. So once you click on McGraw-Hill, it's going to log you in. If for some reason it doesn't log you in and it makes you sign in again, which I don't think it should, but if it does, it's your hlpnet.net username and your password is ABC12345, I believe. I believe it goes all the way to 5. Just keep in mind that the letter A is lowercase, B and C are capitalized, and then the numbers afterwards. So it's, again, hlpnet.net username, and the password is ABC12345. Do not change the password. There is nothing like super like confidential that you need to be worried about people getting access to. Everyone will have the same thing set up, so you'll be fine. Okay, so when you log in, you will probably see previous teachers' materials on here. The reason why is because for some reason it stays. It doesn't like delete itself automatically after each year goes by. So you just want to scroll down to your 6th grade material. So for right here, it has my last name, and then this is your StudySync. If you want to click on StudySync and explore StudySync, go for it. But like I said, this tutorial is going to focus on social studies. So you want to click on Launch for Impact, where it says my name. It says Social Studies there. And it's going to take you to this website right here. So this is your social studies website. Here, this is going to be very helpful. It goes through a bunch of different types of like sections. Assignments is the one that I really want you guys to be most familiar with. So I already have an assignment here for an example. This here says the start date and the due date. So the due date is 4/17 is what I have it set up as. And if you click on this, this is the 7-1 quiz. If you click on it, then you'll be able to take the quiz online, and then it'll grade it for you. And then if there's any like later on, if there's any like responses where you have to type your answers in and stuff, then I'll grade it, and then it'll let you know what your final grade is once I'm done grading it. So you're going to hit start assignment, and then it's going to start the quiz. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to start his quiz for him. He needs to do that on his own. But just keep in mind right here the assignments tab, and then make sure you're paying attention to the start date and the due dates. Okay, going back to the actual dashboard, this is where I kind of want you guys to get a little bit familiar with as well, because there may be some features here that are helpful. So right here where it says browse your course, you want to scroll down to the lesson that we are currently working on. So for example, we're going to be focusing on ancient India, so 7-1. So I'm going to click on ancient India, chapter 7, lesson 1. And here, this is when you can view your student edition. So I know that this curriculum is very rich and high in vocabulary, and for some people it's kind of intimidating. And it's also sometimes kind of like hard to focus the entire time when you're doing your work. Just like in class, how sometimes we take turns reading out loud to kind of mix it up a little bit. You can do that here. So for right here, where anything that says ebook or interactive ebook, that this you can click on these. So for example, let's say I want to click on this one, and let's say that I am looking through the lesson, and there are some words that are hard for me to pronounce, or I just want to follow along as it's being read to me, then I can do that here. So let's say I want to scroll down to Geography of India. This is what we're going to be focusing on first. This is the same thing as your textbook. So you're going to turn in your textbook to Chapter 7, Lesson 1, and then you can actually have this read it out loud to you. So let's say that I want it to start reading the whole page. I'm going to click on Read Entire Page, and it's going to read it for me. Let's say I don't want it to read the entire page. I just want it to read a certain section. Then for right here, I'm going to highlight the section that I want it to read for me, and then this right here is going to pop up. It's going to give me different things. So I can actually make annotations. I can close read it. I can highlight, I can underline, I can do annotation box, I can do annotation circles, I can add a place mark, I can add a note, or I can have it read the selected information for me.
On its northern border, India is separated from the rest of Asia by rugged mountain systems. The Himalaya are one of these mountain systems.
Okay, so I can pause, I can rewind, I can highlight a different section for it to read. So for those of you who just want this as an extra tool, I think it's fantastic. That way I can kind of read along with it instead of having to use all of my brain power to have to read some of this very high vocabulary. You can do that. Also right here, let's say that I want to click on a vocabulary word. Right here actually gives me the definition. So instead of having to flip back and look in the glossary, I can actually just click on it and it gives me the definition from the glossary right there, which is really cool. So there's a feature that I think is really helpful. You can also make it so that way this box opens up in a new tab. So if you need to go back and forth, let's say you're doing an open book quiz. You can have one tab here for the quiz, one tab here for the textbook, and then right here, let's say that I want to X out and I want to start taking the quiz. I can go back and forth and bounce back and forth from tab to tab instead of having to click back and then go there and then click back again. I don't even think it'll let you do that because you'll be doing that for forever. So keep that in mind. Those are really helpful. Your inquiry journal right here is also available to you as well. I know sometimes the primary sources or the secondary sources that are in there is, rich in vocabulary, like how we mentioned before, and sometimes it's difficult to read. So the interactive inquiry journal will also help you out there. So right here are some interactive student resources. So you can click and explore these. I'm not going to go over every single one. You are more than welcome to click and explore those. You can even click this. Anything with a check mark means that it's specifically meant for the online website. So you can click on this. It's a lesson review and activities. So that may be fun for you to actually explore that. They have videos here, so you can watch a video regarding this lesson. Sometimes I've shown those in class, so you'll be a little bit familiar with those. Self-check quizzes, vocabulary review, true or false games. It's actually a pretty cool learning tool. We never used it in class just because we had so much going on and not enough time. But now that we are doing distance learning, go for it. Those of you who are Spanish speaking, they have a Spanish version. So if you feel more comfortable learning this in Spanish, you can also do that. Of course, I recommend that you also focus on the English resources, but that's another tool for you to use if you need that type of translation. So yeah, here's the grades section over here. So once you actually start doing the assignments, your grades will actually pop up right here so you can see what your scores are and keep track of things that way. There's also a calendar section. So when we click on the calendar section, it's going to load, and then it's going to show you what assignments are due. Now keep in mind, it's just going to show you the social studies assignment, so I recommend that you write this in your agenda instead of focusing on just this because you're going to have a bunch of other assignments from your other classes as well. But yeah, overall, that is the tutorial for the ConnectEd. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to actually log in. Go to class link, click on McGraw-Hill, log in, actually like click around, explore, get familiar and comfortable with the website. You do not need to do the quiz right now because we obviously haven't started officially 7-1 yet. If you want to do it and get it out of the way, go for it. But make sure that you are actually looking in the book for the answers, just like how you do in class, okay? But that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys are doing well so far, and I'll see you guys soon.